Hello there everybody, Sam Strains here and welcome back to the railway and welcome back to another locomotive review. As you can see, today we're going to be looking at the lovely Hornby 8F locomotive, and this is the super detailed edition. Now, I bought this locomotive many years ago, and when it came, the cosmetic condition of the locomotive was basically perfect, but mechanically it really didn't run very well. Now, in those days I didn't know what I know now about how to service these things and take them apart, so for many years, unfortunately, this particular model of mine didn't run very well. But obviously as time's gone on, I've learned a lot. I've learned how to service these things, and in fact on one occasion I took this one apart completely, totally overhauled it and cleaned it up and fixed it, and now it runs absolutely perfectly, just as good as it did when it came out of the factory. So I thought I would review this now that it's working properly, and I'll just show you the end of the box because you can see the product code, which is R2229 BR280 Class 8F locomotive 48154, which is the running number, as you can see there. Now, on the back of the box there isn't really anything as far as information of the class goes, so I'm going to go ahead and get this out straight away for you. So yeah, let's open this up. The Stania 8F, a classic World War II locomotive. Right, first thing to show you then, I haven't got any instructions for this one sadly, but I do have the detail pack still, which has never been opened, and in there you can see it's got the vacuum pipes, the brake rigging, and also a couple of lamp irons with lamps on them, which don't go on the front I don't think, because the lamp irons already fitted on the front don't have the lamps, so it might be for the tender. Okay, and then you've got this, which is the card with the illustration on it. As you can see, that is quite a lovely photograph of the model. There we go. And now let's get the loco out. And as you can see, this isn't a particularly modern example because the loco and tender aren't connected to each other, so let's start getting this stuff out. Tender first then, let's get this one out. And this is one of my favourite tenders. It's really a very typical war tender. As you can see, it's very plain, very dark coloured, obviously it's black, but yes, very nice tender. More on that later then. Let's get the loco out from its packaging. Feels odd not to be opening a block of ice. So there it is, a nice heavy locomotive, number 48154, a Stania 8F. Beautiful. Right, well I'm going to obviously look at this in a lot more detail in just a second, but first of all, here's a little bit of information on the history of the class and how they came to be. So yes, here we go. So they were heavy freight locomotives designed by William Stania of the LMS railway, and they first appeared in 1935. Originally they were intended to be sent to France during the Second World War, but ended up in the Middle East. During World War II, the class was chosen to be the standard freight locomotive for the UK, and hence literally hundreds and hundreds of them were produced. Over the war years, many examples were shipped to Iran, Egypt and Palestine, and some were even equipped to burn oil for those locations where oil was more plentiful than coal. In total then, a massive 852 were produced, and 15 of those were preserved, and the rest sadly were either scrapped or lost at sea, which is quite unusual, but yes, a few were lost at sea. On with the review then, let's see what this one's like. Okay, so there she is then against the white background, looking very elegant, and as I say, she is a few years old. It is not the newest of models, but I hope you'll agree that she still looks to be quite up to date and still looks like a relatively modern model. Now normally I talk about the livery, but obviously it is a plain livery, it is BR black, but there are a few separately painted parts on there nonetheless. First of all, obviously the side of the cab, you have 8F 48154, and of course the side of the cab there is very nicely detailed while we're on the subject of it. Lots of rivets, glazed window, yep, that's very good. Round the front of the smoke box door you can see the running number has been applied there, which is a nice touch. Yes, I know the smoke box dart is missing as well, and I might try and get a replacement one of those, but yes, that was missing when I got this model. Obviously it was second hand. And then finally, when it comes to the separately painted parts, we have the LMS badge here on the front, just underneath the smoke box. I can't exactly read what that says, but I'm sure the camera will pick that out. And I should show you inside the cab actually, because technically that is painted too. It is just done in the one colour, in that sort of bronzy, goldy colour, but I do quite like that, and it does just, you know, it gives it a little bit more detail, which is nice. The model also has lots of separately fitted parts. You have the separately fitted metal reverser rod there, as you can see. You have the handrails, which are metal, and unfortunately the paint seems to have flaked off in a few places there, which is a bit of a shame, but I suppose it's almost a bit of a weathered touch, but a bit of a naff one, I suppose. And yes, of course, the model does have sprung buffers. Let me just show you that. There we go. Yes, sprung buffers. On the top you have the safety valves and the whistle, which are also separately fitted, and they are metal as well. And on the top of the cab you do have lots of rivets, but you also have this separately fitted opening and closing door, as you can see there, which is very nice. Moulded detail, there's quite a lot of it as well. You've got lots of rivets, especially around the smoke box area. And although it doesn't look like a modern, super detailed, you know, piece of kit, I think it still does the job, and for the price it isn't too bad at all. Okay, let's look at the tender, and I've already said how much I like the tender. Of course it is a very, very plain tender, no riveting or anything on the sides, but it does have the beautifully applied early emblem of the British Railways crest on the side there, which I think is a great touch. And the coal is very nicely detailed as well. It's very fine scale coal, and I particularly like the fact that it's only half full. I think it would have been quite rare to find one of these 8Fs with a full load of coal, especially during the wartime. So yes, that is nice, but of course it is removable if you want to remove it. Round the back there's an awful lot of detail there as well. You've got 3 badges, let's see if we can see what they say. You've got the top one, LMS, with the running number I think, and perhaps a date. Then you've got LMS built 19 something, crew, can't see the date, maybe the camera will, and then the bottom one says water capacity 4,000 gallons. And the back of the tender is truly well detailed. You know, you've got all the riveting, the moulded detail, the sprung buffers, the NEM coupling, fantastic. So yes, not the most modern locomotive in the world, but I personally still find it quite attractive, and I think the detail is more than acceptable for this sort of modern age. So let's get her tested on the track then, let's see how she runs. Here we go. Alright, so there she is then, the lovely 8F running number 48154, ready to be tested. She's about to couple up to some specialised LMS milk vans, so not exactly a heroic wartime train, but they are LMS, so I thought that would be good. Then on the middle line we have the Princess Royal. This one is number 6201, which is Princess Elizabeth of course, and she's got some of those maroon Stanier coaches. And then on the inner line of course I've got the 4F, which is another LMS freight locomotive, and she has some wagons, does she, so that should be nice as well. And also once we get all this stuff running, keep an eye out on the layout, because there are 5 other LMS locomotives out there for you to spot. But for now then, let's see how this runs, and as I said, I have had this apart completely and I believe it's running just as good as it was when it came out of the factory, so this should be a fair test. She is fitted with DCC, so that might make a difference, but yep, let's see. Let's put her onto a nice slow shunting speed then and see how she gets on. Here we go. And as you can see, that is truly very, very impressive. A fantastic slow speed runner. She's right on an express point, but of course she has full tender pickups as well, which is, you know, a big help of course. Right, reverse. Let's see how she does in reverse. Yep, just as good, and also very, very quiet. The only noise I can hear is the wind turbine running in the background. That is very impressive indeed. Okay, a bit more speed then. Let's send her off to her wagons. Wow, look at that linkage. Okay, steady girl, steady, steady, steady. Okay, we've got cream instead of milk. It's not milk anymore. Anyway, let's try and do this more gently this time. There we go. Okay, and take the milk away. Nobody will know, nobody will know. Okay, let's give it a better speed. There we go. Okay, and let's move on with the Princess class, the Princess Royal. Okay, I'm going to set her to a nice express speed then, so about 70 odd miles an hour. Let's see how she does with that. Yes, very nicely. And now then, just the 4F left to start. And I think I will put the sound on this one, so yep, let's turn that on. And let's hear a whistle. And let's get her going. Here we go. The beautiful 4F. Oh, that was good. Has she died? No, hopefully not. There we go. Oh god, one of the wagons has come off. Anyway, enjoy the running session. Okay, so now for the ratings on the Hornby 8F. First of all, detail 7 out of 10. It isn't up to modern standards, but certainly it's not bad, and I'm more than happy with it. Performance 9 out of 10. She is a fantastic slow speed performer. She doesn't pull an awful lot. I mean, you would expect her to be pulling massive loads, but she can't manage the truly massive loads. But having said that, certainly not bad at all, so 9 out of 10. Character 6 out of 10. I know that's a bit of a nasty score, and I'm sure Hornby got this model just right, but to me personally, I don't think it has the charm that some of the smaller engines do, but still not a bad score nonetheless. Build quality 9 out of 10, certainly not bad there. Value, I paid about £80, I believe, if I remember correctly, so again, that's not bad, 8 out of 10, which gives us overall 7.82 out of 10, and if I put her into the ranking, that puts her 8th, just between the 9F and Gordon. Well, I hope you agreed with my ratings anyway. Do let me know if you think I was a bit harsh. I feel like I might have been a bit harsh, but a lot of it is personal preference. But seriously, it's not a bad model for its age, it really isn't. And she's being very, very careful with all that milk as well, isn't she now? I think she must have learned her lesson. And there's the 4F. With her mixture of wagons. She's doing very nicely, chuffing quietly along. Well then everybody, I do hope you enjoyed today's review. Of course, if you did, please leave the video a like or even a comment, because I do love it when you get in touch. And also, if you'd like to, you can check out the Facebook and the Twitter pages, and they're going to be at facebook.com/samstrains or twitter.com/samstrains. It would be lovely to see you on there, but for now that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Oh yes, and don't forget, if you want your name or artwork or anything you like at all up on the wall of fame, you can email it in to samstrains@outlook.com and I'll put those up for you. But for now folks, thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you very soon. Cheers everybody.